Got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
This is Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. Clever Gatete has been approved by the Upper Chamber of Parliament as the new permanent representative of Rwanda to the United Nations headquarters in New York. Uzima Chicken Limited, one of the biggest chick producing farms in the country, has started exporting their old chicks to different African countries. Rubavu district authorities have decided to move the Gisenyi hospital to a safer location after it was affected by tremors which followed the eruption of Nyiragongo volcano in May last year. Uganda and Tanzania have been elected to be members of the African Union's Peace and Security Council. A 7-member heads of state committee will now consider Israel's observer status in the African Union after the union's top organ deferred deliberations on the matter. Now the news in detail. Clever Gatete has been approved by the Upper Chamber of Parliament as the new permanent representative of Rwanda to the United Nations headquarters in New York. Prior to his appointment on January 31st, Gatete was the Minister of Infrastructure, a position he has occupied since April 2018. Before then, he was the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning since 2013. Prior to joining cabinet, Gatete worked as the Central Bank Governor, a position he assumed after a tour of duty as Rwanda's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Among Gatete's priorities, there will be courting more investors from New York to Rwanda and present Rwanda as a financial hub. Gatete will also work towards fighting genocide ideology in foreign countries, but also work with the countries that are harboring genocide fugitives to make sure that they are brought to justice. Gatete will be replacing Valentine Rugwabiza, a position she held since 2016. Rubavu district authorities have decided to move the Gisenyi hospital to a safer location after it was affected by tremors which followed the eruption of Nyiragongo volcano in May last year. Officials say the decision to relocate the district hospital was motivated in part by the effects of the earthquakes. After the earthquakes, health facilities in Rubavu recorded damages valued at over 1.9 billion Rwandan francs. A July 2021 government report on the earthquake said the relocation of Gisenyi District Hospital was a top priority. Ildefonse Kambogo, the mayor of Rubavu District, said the construction of a new hospital will be completed by 2024. He said that in addition to cancer treatment, the new hospital will provide all other medical services, including surgery and heart treatment. The old hospital has the capacity to accommodate not more than 300 people, and the proposed new hospital can accommodate 400 to 500 patients or more. The Democratic Republic of Congo has great trade potential with Rwanda, with data from recent years showing trade and currently is Rwanda's biggest regional and trading partner. The latest World Bank report on Rwanda themed boosting regional trade integration in the post-COVID-19 era observed that DRC is a growing trade opportunity for Rwanda. Exports have grown considerably in the last decade, analysts said, adding that Rwanda exports to DRC are more than to East African Community countries combined. Among the key recommendations by the World Bank Group is that Rwanda should continue its efforts to develop, improve efficiency, and strengthen coordination across the trade logistical infrastructure required for a regional logistic hub. Other recommendations include improvements that could significantly reduce both external and internal trade costs. Uzima Chicken Limited, one of the biggest chick producing farms in the country, has started exporting day-old chicks to different African countries. Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board described this as a good development as the country continues boosting the poultry sector. Teonesi Kubgao, sales and marketing manager at Uzima Chicken Limited, say that in 2021, the company exported about 600,000 day-old chicks and about 100,000 hatching eggs, which are hatched by customers themselves in the export countries. He said that the company was exporting day-old chicks to Central African Republic, Cameroon, eggs, but with a plan to also export chicks. Congo Brazzaville, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Uganda. It was expected that the farm would have the capacity to produce 200,000 day-old chicks per month, up from 10,000 that were being produced before the government privatized it. According to information from the Agriculture Ministry, based on the current statistics, the farm exceeded such projections by far. Currently, Uzima Chicken Limited is producing over 1 million day-old chicks per month. Rice farmers in Nyamasheke district in the Chirimbi and Machuba swamps are happy that after the construction of irrigation canals, their fields are no longer flooded and covered by soil brought about by landslides. They say they have faced various problems in the past caused by the water from all the mountains around the swamps, which flooded their plantation fields. National Agency for the Development of Agriculture and Livestock and the farmers' cooperatives have been looking for ways to deal with the flooding. Prosper Habihirwe, an agriculture monitoring officer for the swamp management project, say they took action and built irrigation canals after realizing that flooding was a major hindrance to production. The Duhuza cooperative in the Chinimbi Machuba swamp has about 1,773 members who cultivate rice on an area of 127 hectares, which produced 654 tons of rice last season. Residents of the model villages in Nyagatare district have engaged in income-generating activities so that they do not have to wait for government handouts. Ingabire Beata, a mother of 7 who lives in the model village of Gishwe in Tabagwe sector, works as a seamstress. She says she earns money from this job and calls on others to find income-generating activities instead of waiting for help from outside. Deputy Mayor in charge of social affairs in Nyagatare district, Mrekatete Juliet, says they have made efforts to educate people who have the mentality to sit and wait for help instead of finding solutions within themselves. Chairperson of the Senate Special Committee, Munesyankwano Marie Rose, says there is a need to raise awareness in promoting income-generating activities among those who reside in model villages. Nyagatare district has constructed 2 model villages, namely Gishuro, which was completed in July 2020, and Gwabiharamba in Karangazi sector, which has been home to 16 disadvantaged families since 2017. Now some items of international news. A 7-member heads of state committee will now consider Israel's observer status in the African Union after the union's top organ deferred deliberations on the matter. The AU Assembly meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, for the 35th ordinary session tasked the committee to review the decision by the African Union Commission chairperson Musa Faki to grant Israel observer status after Palestine protested the decision. The 7-member panel consists of President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari, Algeria's Abdel Majid, Cameroon's Paul Biya, DRC's Felix Tshisekedi, and Senegal's Macky Sall. Uganda and Tanzania have been elected to be members of the African Union's Peace and Security Council. The African Union's Peace and Security Council is a 15-member organ comprised of member states from each of the 5 regions of the bloc. It is the African Union's standing decision-making body for the prevention, management, and resolution of conflicts on the continent. Other members elected are Morocco and Tunisia, Northern Region, Cameroon, Burundi, and Congo, Central Region, Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, and Senegal, Western Region, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, Southern Region. In the run-up to the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, countries around the world are calling for an end to the globally condemned practice. According to the United Nations, in Kenya, around 4 million women and girls have been subjected to female genital mutilation. Prevalence rates vary greatly by region and ethnicity, from a large non-practicing West and Central Kenya to a 98% observance in the country's northeast. Agnes Leina, Executive Director of the Ilamartag Community Concerned, said, "The biggest challenge is that female genital mutilation is a traditional ceremony. It's their culture, it's the core of their culture, and to remove culture from a person is not easy." A school in Kajiado County works with local authorities to protect girls and let them know their rights. Senegal's President Macky Sall declared today a public holiday to celebrate the national football team's first ever African Cup of Nations win following their victory against Egypt. Led by Liverpool star Sadio Mane, Senegal defeated Mohamed Salah's Egypt 4-2 in a penalty shootout at Sunday's final in Cameroon. Morocco today buried little Ryan, the 5-year-old boy who died trapped in a well despite a 2-day-long rescue operation that gripped the world. The child's fate drew global attention after he fell down a narrow 32-meter dry well last Tuesday. On Saturday night, crowds had cheered in joy when rescue workers reached Ryan after a round-the-clock digging operation clearing away the final handful of dirt. But hope turned to grief as news spread that the rescue was too late and Ryan was dead. Tunisian judges have rejected President Kai's move to disband the council that oversees them, a move they see as undermining their independence, setting up a new struggle for his consolidation of power. Said announced overnight he was dissolving the Supreme Judicial Council, one of the few remaining state bodies still able to act independently of him. Tunisian police have locked the doors of the Supreme Judicial Council and have stopped staff from entering. Said has been tussling with the judiciary for months, criticizing its decisions, accusing it of corruption, and saying it has been infiltrated by his political enemies. In July, he suddenly suspended parliament, dismissed the prime minister, and said he could rule by decree. He has since said he will rewrite the 2014 democratic constitution before putting it to a public referendum. French President Emmanuel Macron expressed guarded optimism ahead of talks in Moscow with Russian President Vladimir Putin aimed at diffusing tensions over the Ukrainian crisis. Macron headed to talk with Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in Moscow today, hoping to ensure Europe gets a say in broader US-Russia negotiations over Ukraine, but risks embarrassment if he returns empty-handed. Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report for today, 7th February 2022. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 220,766,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 4 deals on the fixed income market, and 7,350,000 Rwandan francs from 30,000 shares traded in 1 deal on the equities market. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 245. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 7,350,000 Rwandan francs from 30 shares traded in one deal. Bergwa closed the counter at 125 Rwandan francs. I&M Bank closed the counter at 45 Rwandan francs. Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs. M10 Rwanda at 180 Rwandan francs. Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs. Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs. National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs. Uturi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs. RH Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. Currency market review for today. Burundian franc buying price was 0.5 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.51 Rwandan francs. Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.8 Rwandan francs and selling price was 8.9 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Uganda shilling buying price was 0.28 Rwandan francs and selling price was 0.29 Rwandan francs. US dollar buying price was 1,003 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,023 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,147 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,170 Rwandan francs. British pound buying price was 1,357 Rwandan francs and selling price was 1,384 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.